The world and the internet are filled with tons of pieces of lost media. Some of this lost media will remain hidden for a very long time. Some will never be found. However, there are some pieces of lost media that simply never existed. Today we are going to be going over several pieces of lost media that people thought existed. However, they simply don't. Hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new video. I thank you so much for clicking on the video, and I really hope you enjoy. I don't want to keep this intro going for too much longer, so I thank you so much for watching, and let's get straight into the video. Enjoy.
Okay, me first. Ow!
For most of my audience, I probably don't need to introduce the next show, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. Regular Show was an animated TV show created by J.G. Quintel and aired on Cartoon Network. The show aired with its first episode, The Power, in September of 2010. In this episode, main characters Mordecai and Rigby discover a keyboard and use it, and realize that it can grant them anything that they ask of it. A bunch of hijinks ensue, and it is a pretty good episode. It was so good that people instantly fell in love with the show, as many people realized this wasn't your typical animated kids show. It was more of a show that could target the demographic of teens and kids alike. This, mixed with the good comedy and the strange plots that could go on in each episode, led to the show having over 240 episodes, a movie, nearly infinite merchandise, and potentially a new spin-off series coming at some point in the future. This show was, and still is, very popular, and is widely considered one of Cartoon Network's greatest shows, if not their greatest show. However, every show needs a pilot. And for Regular Show, The Power wasn't its actual true pilot that was originally created. The original pilot was named Pilot, but it was later updated and edited to have some extra things put into it, and was named First Day. This episode was actually put in the midway point of season 2 of the show. The episode does have a noticeable, unpolished look compared to the rest of the series. However, it was still a decent episode, and was cool to see anyways, as it was the episode that got the show greenlit with Cartoon Network. So, why am I talking about this? Clearly a pilot does exist. Well, there was supposedly 2 other pilots that came out before this one. One of them being the pilot you see here, but done in Flash animation. For those who don't know, the show had done for its entire runtime hand-drawn animation. This led to the show having a more personal touch with each animation, and allowed them to be able to create more lively scenes and more lively characters. Flash animation could have potentially made things easier for the creators, and it's not really known why they didn't go with Flash animation. However, it seems like Cartoon Network may not have wanted it, as several other shows around the time experimented with Flash animation but didn't wind up going with it. One thing is known though, is an entire full-length episode using the Flash animation does not exist. And it never did. This was confirmed by Eric J. Pringle, the person who animated the original Flash clips for the original pilot. He said this was one of the 2 clips that was made. The original pilot was about 7 minutes long and had the same plot as the more modern episode, First Day. He said that the original pilot ran for about 7 minutes, and it was completely done in hand-drawn animation. He later said that Cartoon Network asked for a couple of clips from this original 7-minute pilot to be brought into Flash animation to see if it was better and easier for the creators. However, Eric Pringle did say that there was never a full episode created, just a couple of clips. He said that people who said there was a full-length episode were mistaken. And so, that was it. I'm glad the show went the route it did, as I feel like the show looks all the better for it. And yes, I do know that this is an early build of something that would probably look better given time, but I do feel that the hand-drawn animation gives a simplistic yet personal tone that I don't feel would have been there if they had went with Flash animation. As for the other supposed second pilot that exists, nothing exists on it. It is nothing more than just a hoax. However, this original Flash pilot was kind of somewhat real in a sense. However, it was only a couple of clips and not an entire episode. It is cool, however, to see one of the original pilot clips in this form of animation, even if a full-length episode doesn't exist.
Pizza is the pizza, yeah, for you and me.
This video wouldn't be a lost media that doesn't exist video if it didn't include this entry. I'm gonna keep this entry brief, as many other people have already talked about this one. A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants was a mockumentary film that would see SpongeBob worry that he isn't as popular and is becoming less relevant in Bikini Bottom. To prevent this, Mr. Krabs would host a competition for SpongeBob called Spend a Day with SpongeBob. Thousands of kids signed up, and the lucky winner would be Seth. However, during the time together, plenty of things wouldn't go as planned during this day, and they would get into a wild adventure. This was the plot synopsis given by the main producer of the movie. The movie was created by a man who only went by the name Mr. Orange. He said that he had tried getting several publishers to pick up his movie and fund it. However, none ever did. Until Regal Films. After several different times speaking with his attorney as to the legal rights of the movie, Regal Films said they would fund it if the movie had enough people that wanted to watch it. So, to determine how many people wanted to watch it, they set up an Amazon page with this movie and this cover being sold for pre-orders. Some people bought it. However, people soon realized that they wouldn't be getting anything and instead figured out that the movie didn't even exist. After a long period of time and many people searching for this movie, nothing was ever found and people basically came across nothing. People eventually did, however, find the creator of the movie, Mr. Orange, and reached out to him. He explained several different things that, well, Regal Films wasn't a money laundering front, and that the movie was actually a real thing, however, it was never made. Just a few pages of script, and it was pitched to several different film studios, all being rejected until Regal Films. He said that crowdfunding would begin in September of 2016 since so many people wanted to watch it. However, this crowdfunding never happened at this time, or ever. The movie, as of right now, has nothing going on, and currently has no plans for a release or even development. There are plenty of other people who have covered this topic a lot more extensively than I have, and I suggest you go check out their videos. If I remember, I'll leave some links in the description. This, overall, is a strange piece of what was considered lost media. However, as of now, it doesn't exist outside of a couple pages of script and this main picture. This is a little bit of a different entry, but one I think you will find interesting. 4 years prior to the discovery of the WOW signal, NASA would help fund the Big Ear Telescope program to help in aiding the search for alien life. This was an on-the-ground telescope that would analyze for any signals from outer space. This was in Ohio University and was first funded in 1973. The WOW signal was a signal that the Ohio State University's Big Ear Telescope received on August 15, 1977. The signal lasted for 72 seconds and was widely believed to be of possible extraterrestrial origin, and was widely considered the first true human interaction in any way with extraterrestrial life. A couple of days after the signal was received, astronomer Jerry Amon would view the written broadcast of the signal, and next to it would write WOW, giving it its name. The WOW signal would go on to be in many different pieces of news and many different articles throughout the entire world, as this was viewed as a monumental discovery. So, what is the lost media portion of this? Well, many people had believed that there was audio to go along with the written out sheet for the signal. See, the signal was written out onto paper as it was received, the numbers meaning different values of signal strength and other potential variables. People had said that there was audio to go along with this though. They did, however, say there wasn't necessarily a real way to prove this, as the Big Ear telescope had been demolished in 1998. People did, however, set out to prove that the audio did exist somewhere. Several fake audio recordings had been made. One of the most popular of these fake recordings was of a police officer saying the code 1061, and was slowed down 1,500%. Not that it's really relevant, but code 1061 just means a traffic stop. So this had nothing to do with anything with the WOW signal. There was also theories that the episode Little Green Men of the TV show The X-Files had used this audio at some point during the episode. However, this audio was proven to have been created by the creators of the show and was only used specifically for the show. People had searched high and low for this audio, believing it had to be somewhere, whether it be in a TV show or on the internet, as this was a massive find when it happened. However, their efforts to discover this were quite meaningless, as at the memorial site for the Big Ear Radio Observatory, which was the place that housed the telescope, it was stated that the telescope lacked any audio equipment. This means that there couldn't have been any audio recording with the signal, as there was no microphones of any kind that were present on the telescope at any point during its use. All the signal was numbers and data. It's still heavily debated what the WOW signal is, whether it was extraterrestrial, or it was possibly radio signals from Earth bouncing back into our atmosphere. We don't know. However, what we do know is that the audio for the WOW signal is completely non-existent. However, it's still a pretty cool thing anyways.
Jesus. Okay, so the first night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through.
What the fuck? Oh!
Some of you watching this have probably heard of the horror game Five Nights at Freddy's, a small point-and-click horror indie game that released in 2014 to very little success. Jokes aside, for those who don't know, the game sees you play as a security guard working the night shift at a Chuck E. Cheese-style family pizzeria. During your time here as a night guard, you need to survive for 6 hours while warding off possessed animatronics that want to kill you. The game is very simple in both its premise and its gameplay, as there isn't a whole lot to do. However, this didn't matter, as many people fell in love with the game and fell in love with the horror and the visuals of the game. The game was so successful that the game would go on to create a franchise that would span over 10 games, infinite fan-made games, infinite theories on the story of what was going on, millions of dollars in merchandise sale, a movie, a second movie, and the worst part of the internet. This game started it all and was one of the biggest games to ever release in the 2010s. This game wasn't even on the radar for a lot of people before its release. It was mostly just seen as another flash indie horror game. It received a simple yet creepy enough trailer on the YouTube channel of the creator of it, Scott Cawthon. It wasn't until popular YouTuber Markiplier played it, and this was when it jumped onto everybody's radar. After this, the game went on to grab massive attention. So why am I talking about this at all? Well, most pieces of media typically get trailers prior to their release, and this game was no exception. As I mentioned, it received a small trailer on Scott Cawthon's YouTube channel. However, this supposedly wasn't the original trailer. This was the second trailer released onto Cawthon's channel. On June 14th of 2014, Scott Cawthon would release the first trailer of Five Nights at Freddy's onto his channel. Shortly after the upload, a user by the name of Wallmeat would comment on this video saying something about another trailer that had been uploaded to this channel several days before. Nothing was ever really done with this information, and the comments stayed with the video with nobody really asking or even having any further elaboration from the creator of the comment. This was until almost exactly 6 years later, on June 15th, 2020, when a Reddit user by the name of Sakali Ekmek was able to find and contact Wallmeat. He asked, and Wallmeat recounted that the video was taken off of Scott's channel after Scott wanted to upload a different trailer. The trailer supposedly featured a different type of endoskeleton to the one that is used in the actual game. For those who don't know, inside of the animatronic suits is a endoskeleton, which is the animatronic components that control the character itself. So, there was a different version of this endoskeleton supposedly. After these comments came out, another Reddit user by the name of the Freddy channel found a link via the Wayback Machine to Scott Cawthon's old Google Plus account. This led him to find 3 videos, 2 of which had been uploaded to Scott's YouTube channel. However, one was never uploaded at all, that one just being called 5 Nights. So, people thought that this was the trailer that Scott had removed. However, with the link being dead, there was no way to confirm it. People searched and searched. However, this didn't matter, as Wallmeat would say in a Twitter post that he was mistaken and that he was thinking of the same trailer that Scott Cawthon had posted onto his YouTube channel. The reason he thought there was a different endoskeleton was because of a picture. This picture was discovered by a person by the name of Invisible Fox 23. He found the picture of the endoskeleton that Wallmeat had talked about, and Wallmeat confirmed it was just a picture and that this was the picture he remembered, and mistakenly thought it was an entirely different trailer. I don't understand how that happens, but apparently it did. And the mystery of this original trailer was debunked. The search for this trailer may not have ended how some people thought it would have, and didn't even go on for very long. But one mystery still remains with this. One that potentially holds some credence to the claim that there was another trailer. This is the mystery of what was this third 5 Nights video that was never uploaded. Clearly it has something to do with the game series of 5 Nights at Freddy's. However, we don't know if it was a trailer, a gameplay demo, or nothing at all. It could have just been a placeholder for what would later be the other trailer, and it was never taken down. It is very possible that there was another trailer, or maybe something else completely. We don't know. And unless Scott Cawthon is asked and knows what this 5 Nights video was, then it seems like this video will remain a mystery. But for now, we can at least know that this original trailer this person spoke of isn't real and was nothing more than just a picture. Alright everybody, I thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video, and I know there was some entries in here that have been covered quite extensively. However, I still really enjoyed talking about them, and I hope that the entries were still entertaining nonetheless. I plan on doing a lot more lost media content going forward on my channel, as well as just other internet mysteries and other things. I have some pretty big videos planned for the next little while, and some of them are probably going to take a little longer than my usual videos. However, I still do plan to continue to make similar videos to this, so keep an eye out for those. If you did enjoy this video though, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does help out the channel, and I don't want to keep this outro going for too much longer, so I thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.
We gon' be okay, we gon' be alright, we gon' be okay, we gon' be alright, we gon' be okay.